Our youth pastor is having a sabbatical right now, and he was going to be going on this trip, the CIY trip, a week long. And so yesterday they got a hold of me, and they're like, "Hey, can you go to this Tennessee trip?" You know, I'm like, "Gotta be gone a week."
Yeah.
And it's at the end of June. It's like right around the corner. I'm like, geez, like
right at month end.
And part of it was when we found out they were going on sabbatical. Jessica, my wife, went up there, and I guess we're filming this. But hey, Trent, how are you?
Welcome in.
Anyways, we were talking about church camp because I'll be gone for in a couple weeks for about a week.
Yeah.
But she mentioned to the head pastor, Ross, that hey, if there's a spot available, Trevor might be interested. We never talked about it. You know, so,
surprise.
And I do 4th and 5th grade, and so they all know me really well, and the elders really know me. And so when that was dropped, they were just like, "Yeah, you know, that'd be a great idea. What if, you know?" And so I got a call from the other youth pastor, the youth leader, the elementary youth leader, because this is middle school and high school that took the sabbatical.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, you know, we really appreciate it if you go, and we got to have good representation." And I was like, "Okay." So I kind of accepted it. And then I'm just like, "Oh my goodness, I got so much stuff to do that week too." Like I looked at the week and I was flattered that they wanted me to go. And
yeah,
you know, my daughter's going up there because it's a week-long thing for high schoolers. And so it'll be her first year in high school this next year. So I was like, okay, it'd probably be great, you know, for me to be up there. And then I do also, for youth group, I do the 8th grade boys, but we follow our boys up, and they're going into 9th grade. So that'll be their first year up there too.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my boys are like, "Okay, you know, it'd be great. It'd be awesome." And I was like, "Okay." You know. So anyways, well, I got a trip too. It's just not business.
Yeah.
So, but you got a business trip planned.
I do.
Yeah. So tell us.
I'm going up to Atlantic City.
We kind of dropped that a little bit, but
yeah.
But what is it exactly?
It's more of an investor based like broker trip. So we're gonna meet different lenders. There'll be trade shows. I'll probably have to keep some empty space in my suitcase for bringing goodies. I have to like grab everything, you know. But yeah, it'd be good. And then we're gonna connect with some other people in the industry.
Yeah.
And just kind of learn that way and just see how it goes. But yeah, it's up in Atlantic City.
So is it other lenders that we potentially work with, or is it other brokers? Like, is it brokers and lenders? Like how?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty much. Actually, it's funny because I signed up for their app, and then I started getting meeting invites.
Oh,
and I'm getting all kinds of different meeting invites. Okay. So I had.
Are these like conferences meetings?
Yeah,
when you're there? Okay.
Yeah, so they have a networking zone basically. So now people are setting up meetings with me. Like I have one person that they're like, "We're a direct lender who buy loans from other direct lenders." And I was funny. I was like, "I don't know if I need this." I was talking to Jay, and Jay's like, "No, take the meeting. He's like, you know, maybe we need that because we do correspondent lending. Right. So we're the lender. So there might be an opportunity to say, hey, we have this person who will buy these particular loans off of us, which is the other thing. Because even though we can be the own lender, but the whole goal of lending a lot of times is to just sell that.
Yeah.
Right. So you need somebody to buy it so it can have like more impact. If you're like, okay, my lock has to sit for an extra 7 to 10 days because somebody has to buy it. We have to go through somebody buying it. Is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are these QM or non-QM or both or
non-QM? Yeah.
Non-QM. Okay,
yeah. So a lot of non-QM out there. Meaning not your qualified mortgage, not your usual conventional FHA, VA. That's your QM.
Because the QMs would just get bought by Fannie and Freddie anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Fannie or Freddie typically.
You know, Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually seems pretty beneficial because you'd like to be able to get some portfolio loans or some correspondence or some in-house lending.
Yeah.
But you can't sit on too many.
Right.
For too long.
Yeah, because then you run out of funds.
Yeah.
You know. So what we do is we're going to meet some different lenders for different backgrounds and just talk to them and say, hey, what can you offer, and see if we can fill the gaps in.
Okay.
Yep.
That's neat, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that'll be a pretty neat event. Are you planning on gambling when you go up there?
Yeah, a little bit. We did set aside some time for that. We talked about it as a group. That's all going up from the team. Like maybe we should.
Do they? Are you guys talking about like what type of gambling? Are you talking about blackjack? Are you talking about?
Oh, we've already zeroed it in. Jay and I have decided we're hitting the roulette tables.
The roulette? Okay.
The roulette.
Yeah, roulette is like super fun.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
And so is what's the name of that? Where you throw
the craps.
The craps. Yeah.
I've
craps
never done craps.
Oh, I did it on a cruise for the first time about, I don't know, it was probably about 20 years ago. Gosh, it seemed like yesterday. Anyways, that's what I learned, and I was like, it was so much fun. Ever since then, I've done it maybe about 5 times. And it's just, a lot of it too is the excitement of the people. You can get that around the roulette table too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or roulette. Do they call it a table?
I think it's a table.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. So, do you play something specific? Are you just a black reds? Or are you number?
I mix it up. Sometimes I get a little bored. But if you're up, you're sometimes like, all right, the strategy's been working. I have a little bit of a system. I'll bet like 2 things at once on the outside. So like I'll bet like maybe red.
Okay.
And then I'll take because that's almost a 50-50. It's not, because green throws it off. Those 2 green spaces make it not 50-50, but they pay out 50-50. So that's how the house stays ahead. So when green hits, it wipes out your black and reds, right? So I'll bet a little bit on red, and then I'll pick a third somewhere, either like this third of the table or this row kind of thing. And I do that because if, say, red hits, now I've covered the bet, at least if my third doesn't hit. But if the third hits, those pay out double.
Wow.
Yep. So now you can that's where you make a little bit. So
just seems like you still got to be super lucky to just keep hitting those. I mean, you're playing the odds the best you can.
Yeah.
But
there is definitely luck to it.
Yeah. I mean, I like to play blackjack, and I'm pretty spot on. It's not, every now and then I'll go by a feeling, but I'm pretty spot on. It's like, if it's a hard 17 or something, or whatever, I will do what I'm supposed to do because I'm an odds person. But you're at liberty of the other people on the table, and the person behind the dealer is probably the most important person, because they have to make a decision based on what everybody else made a decision on, and not throw it away to the dealer. And so a lot of that is, I never want to be that position. I hate that responsibility. And
it's too much.
I kind of stick by the rules, and it seems like the people that have better feelings, sometimes they do a little bit better in that spot. And so but you got to make sure that somebody that understands that position is in that position. You got
to know the weight of where your seat.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it kind of goes for the first person too, but not nearly as much. The first person can kind of mess up, and everybody's like, okay, they messed up.
We know.
Let's adjust. They hit, on something they shouldn't have hit on. Dealers got, 17 or whatever, and they're, or 16, and they're hitting on 13 or something. You're like, I know it's a 13. But then they hit a king and stuff, and you're like, but then you got a 12, and you're like, well, you just hit a 10. I'd still probably sit. That's just my mentality, but you kind of have to feel it out. But the person at the end, then they're looking what everybody did and playing the odds based on what they did, and then what they have to do to get to the dealer anyways. It's fun, but it's like, I'm relying on too many people. With roulette, it's just you and the luck board.
Well, almost. Somebody was telling me that there's actually, if you get in a certain rhythm in the roulette, and you start to see the way the numbers hit, because they'll tell you what the last 20 numbers were, right? Somebody told me recently that they're like, if they change person,
that whole thing changes.
You're done. Leave the table, cash out, color up, as I call it, and leave, because when they take and they'll spin the wheel, right? Or the wheel's always, is it always going? I don't remember. But it's been a minute. But they'll take, and when they spin the ball around, the force or their way they do it actually changes the outcome a little bit. Now, not enough statistically, but maybe if you were playing the numbers, now it can change where that ball ends up landing. because it always has the same starting point. So you got to like refeel.
That's interesting. I've heard that about blackjack dealers, and I'm like, the thing is, it's like, yeah, but you're just gonna play the cards, so why would that matter? But how the dealer deals, the personality, how the interactions affects how a person sometimes makes a decision.
Yep.
And so they say if you're leading, like, and you're up, and then they change dealers, you should probably find another table and start to feel that table out, or understand that you're at a different table and start to feel that out. Don't go with the same rhythm that you've been going.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. Because I've heard that about blackjack, but it would. I guess it would make sense in roulette too.
Yeah.
In anything, probably. So.
Well, and sometimes too, like you just maybe it's the whole universe. Like you vibe at a certain energy with somebody, so that's promoting your good fortune, right? So when that changes, maybe your energy just left with that person, you know. So
there's a lot of strange energy. I mean, it's like every older I get, the more I'm just like, there's just all this, like it's just there's energy everywhere. That's just there's Bluetooth flying around everywhere, going to from here to there. It's just like, and we're not seeing any of it, but it's there.
Yeah.
So
like beams.
Yeah. So you almost have to believe in energy to some extent, and the interaction of,
energy and frequencies. And all that.
Yeah, and and how people emit things, because there's certain people like too that when they enter the room, it's just like, ooh, like, yeah. But, I don't mean to be mean to people, but but there are certain times where you're just like, ooh, that just doesn't feel good.
A little bit chill in here.
So, I wonder if I'm that person for some people. When I enter a room, they're like, ooh, there's that bearded bald guy.
The bearded bald guy is here now.
So, I hope it's not kids. I like kids. They're at least, they're nice. We were having a conversation in our group the other day. Sorry, this is nothing related with loans and listing, but with the 4th and 5th graders, and I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but one of the kids was like, well, being accepted by everybody is really important. I was like, it is. And it's like, and most people don't realize, but even us as adults want to be accepted by you guys. And one of the girls was like, you want to be accepted by us? I was like, yeah, of course. It means a lot what you think of me and stuff. I mean, if you don't like me, it's going to hurt my feelings. Same, stay away. So I don't think kids realize that. They're just like, they're just going around looking up to the adults. Yeah. They're adults, so they're supposed to just think and feel the way they feel, or whatever. You're fine. Yeah, exactly. So, but that's a lot of church stuff going on. It's summertime. Yeah. So it's been tough between all the work and church, and actually my cold calls have been lacking a little bit. So you said you're going to be meeting up with David Knight, and I was like, I feel bad because I have not been cold calling the way part of it is Gabe and I have been setting up a calling system with our VAs, and setting that up has been a bit of a headache. Like it just, I got a little impatient, wanted leads added quicker so I can start making calls. Cause I'm just like, we're paying on the system and I'm not, can't use it. There's no benefit right now. Yeah. And so, I loaded like 7,000 leads. Well, the way they did the system, it was integrated with the other CRM that we have. And so it sent on an order to mail 7,000 something mailers out. Whoops. I was like, I apologize, guys, but I keep asking, how do you do this? How do you load this? Because I just want the call feature right now. We'll focus. You guys can focus on all the back end stuff. I don't want, I just want to be able to load people up and start calling people, So anyways, but I was like, geez, man. But yeah, I've been getting out a little out of practice, so I need to get back into. Sometimes it's tough because it's hard to do the things that got you into the position you're in. Sometimes you get distracted. You get distracted
by the butterflies.
Yeah. So, and then you just got to bring yourself back. And a lot of it too is, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but time blocking, and not negotiating with that time block.
Right. Set it in stone. What you can do is with Google Calendar is put it on your calendar, block it, and say every Monday from 9 to 11, for example.
That's the time.
Repeat it weekly. Yep. And now it's sacred, right? You put it in that way. And really, time blocking for prospecting is paying yourself first.
True.
So everyone talks about saving and paying yourself first and all that. Really, it's basically like that's when you pay yourself first in your business. It's prospecting.
Yeah.
And keeping it sacred and don't stop prospecting.
And everything you're doing, it's interesting because I was talking to a girl that she was getting discouraged. This was about a month ago, and she was getting discouraged, and she was making cold calls, and she was calling probates and expireds, and it's like she went something like, she was telling me like 90 days and didn't have anything to show for it, with the exception of a few people to call back and stuff. But it's like she hit day 100 and some of those people started calling back, and it's like on day 100 she ended up with 4 listings.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like, listen, that whole 3 months you're putting money in the bank.
Yep.
You're just putting in that time, and then eventually it's going to pay off.
Right.
It's just it might not feel immediate. And what happens with most people is they go a month and they're like, nothing happened, didn't work.
And they're like, I'm out. Yeah.
I'm done. This is uncomfortable. This is, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. At a certain point, you have to say, like, all right, if you put enough time into the system and you can say, all right, now I can tell it's not working, or I can tell it's working. Right. But a lot of times I was equating it to somebody, we were talking about cold calling, agents in particular. And I was telling him, I'm like, look, just like a mortgage is like a amortization schedule and it's all front loaded with interest. Sometimes your payment that you're paying with your time goes towards paying more interest and principal. You're chipping away at the principal a little bit. But what happens is you have to do it.
Exactly.
Because if it basically, every time you stop doing the activities that make that payment, you're going to reset. And if you reset the mortgage, you go right back into having heavy interest at the beginning versus getting more principal paid down with each payment.
That's true. Yeah. And the thing about the mortgage too is the quicker you pay down that principal, because it's you don't really pay much principal at the beginning.
No, you don't.
Any mortgage. And so those principal payments actually go really far in the beginning. And you're really cutting down the amount of interest you're paying.
Right.
So,
which is also like if you double in on like the work and the right activities, now you get through some more of this like interest time, right? But you got to keep doing the work, got to keep making the payments.
Yeah.
And is what it is.
I feel like most people, when they need to, they figure out how to do things. It's just that it's difficult to just stay on that. We'll get certain successes and then we'll just kind of move on or something. Was it? Oh no! Can't see my face.
We're back.
Whew, there I am.
Well, I lost you for a second. Didn't want it to time out.
And then they just stopped doing what was making them successful, and that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So, and we're all negligent in that way to some degree. So, but it is like the people that are successful get back on track and they get back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
To what makes them successful. So.
Calibrate back and you see, okay, these are the activities I should have done. Okay, now I'm back to it. This is what got me here, right? It's like the main way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of my business has been like a cold calling type thing, and I know most people kind of cringe, and most people don't like to receive cold calls and stuff, but a lot of the times, like when I'm cold calling pre-foreclosures, these people, they're getting called by, hundreds of people, and the thing is, most of the time it's like vultures and people that are, just trying to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So my whole goal is just like, I'm calling people, I'm just looking to help out. I just want to have a conversation and see if there's a way that I can help out. And if there's not, I'm going to be honest with you and, but I'm going to try to point you in the right direction too. And,
I'm here to add value.
Yeah. And 99% of the time I can help those people. It's just, whether they want the help or they want to accept it. And they've usually been so burned. So whether they are going to trust me or, so we did sign a short sale Monday night. We were over there for a couple hours. And, that's a good, this one will be a good short sale and the guy really needed it. So, in 6 months we'll get that one sold.
Nice.
takes a while.
Takes a bit to get those finished.
Those short sales, they're byproducts of what we work in. We don't seek them out.
Yeah.
So, but they help a lot of people. and it's a crap ton of work. So that's why we don't like doing them. But for what they are. But
yeah.
But the people need help, so somebody's got to do it.
Right.
So yeah. So you're going to Atlantic City. What are you doing to prepare with your business before you go?
Just make sure everything's buttoned up, and kind of go from there, and then just kind of realize that what it's going to cut into, just like, and then so what I've been doing a lot more in business and personal life is I've been trying to compartmentalize things in terms of like, all right, when I'm in business mode, I'm in business mode, and then get everything done that I can, so that when I go on a trip, or if I hit the weekend, like, I want to spend time with family, like either way it applies. Like I need to make sure that I'm not bleeding into this, right? So if I worry about, if I think too much about the trip before I take the trip, well, I'm not working during that time. Yeah. So when I'm on the trip, I'm not present on the trip, doing what I need to do, connecting with lenders, maybe some of the brokers, kind of thing. And I'm thinking about work, right? Yeah. So now if you're not present at either one, you kind of wash out and you get mediocrity at both.
Dude, that's spot on. I was driving to pick my daughter up yesterday, and my son's in the car. Or actually, drop her off. This was dropping her off at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Just a minor thing. I'm in the middle of work, and so I'm taking all these. But the whole drive, I'm not even present with her because I'm on the phone. I'm doing it with, actually, I was on the phone with somebody, and then I got on the phone with you. Oh. No, but it's business related and stuff. And so the whole time, and then I get back to the house, and I'm like, man, like I just don't, like, even in the evenings when we're driving places, I find that I get on the phone rather than being present with my kids or anything. Like, just like, there's got to be a certain point where I'm just like, okay, I'm present with my family, and we got to shut it off right now.
Yep.
And I think maybe I need to take some of that advice. Just prioritize when I'm working. When I'm not, I need to just have a little bit of time where I am just present.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was Jay Shetty said in Think Like a Monk. Like that you just don't want to spend time daydreaming is what happens, because like, especially during like the workday, because what happens is when you get your dream of going on vacation, well, you used an hour to daydream about your vacation and work time. Now that hour needs to get made up somewhere, And
so, it's cutting into your vacation.
Now it's cutting into your vacation. You're thinking about work on vacation. Now, obviously, in our industry, it's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
But
it's also kind of a benefit. Like when before we moved over here and we were visiting Disney World, one of the benefits was, and I spent a lot of time in the lines on the phone with, because I was having all my business in Idaho.
Yeah.
But one of the benefits is I was doing work while I was at Disney World.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that.
Right.
And so there was part of me was just like, okay, I'm on vacation, but I still need to take care of these things. And I had a lot going on at that time. And so it was just, I can't drop the ball. But I just got it in my head. You know what? I'm so blessed to be able to still be at Disney World while I can work and stuff.
Yeah.
And so there was some time, and even in the evenings, and I didn't work as much, but I did when we were waiting in lines. I had to get on the phone. I had to take care of business.
Right.
So
yeah, unless you're like supposed to be in entertainment mode, like the kids and all that, but you're like, well, it's okay if I take calls and I work this, and then it's not like you're on the ride going like, yeah, we're on Space Mountain right now. Yeah, you know what? We can get that contract in right now. Don't worry about it. We'll get that contingency handled. No problem. Great. Oh, did we go on the ride yet?
Yeah.
It's
ruining the ride. I will tell you, I would not be doing that because I already get nauseous enough on those. Like, I don't know what it is about getting older, but I get nauseous enough on roller coasters. I do not need to be like, doing something else and then just making it worse. I think that would make it worse.
That would definitely. You're in the picture, like.
Yeah. Oh, the memories of Disney World. Remember being on the phone the whole time? Yeah, I remember that. That was great.
It was great. Got a lot of deals done.
Yeah. But I mean, that, like I said, we're going to Venice Beach this upcoming weekend, just as a 2-day vacation and to look for shark teeth and stuff. If you guys ever want to, I got this really neat Venice Beach video on my YouTube channel that, we kind of spliced from about 6 months ago, but it's a good video. But shark tooth hunting, there's so many shark teeth just everywhere. You go into the sand, you kind of dig through stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually you find some prehistoric stuff. There's people that find megalodon, like giant teeth,
really?
all the time. Yeah, I've never found them yet, but one day
This one.
Well, and there's a few things actually. I found that a lot of people in Central Florida find, like in like Lakeland and Orlando area, as they're digging, find like megalodon and pockets of where because all this was underwater at some point,
right?
And so the teeth are just all over the place, and and sharks are one. I guess they just keep losing their teeth and they
just keep growing back.
Yeah, so there's just like billions of them all over the place, but it's so fun to go searching for them.
Yeah, and that does sound cool.
Yeah, I think Jessica and I find more pleasure than the kids because we'll be out there for like hours and hours. The kids will be like all passed out underneath the. We're gonna leave it a little bit. We're leaving it a little bit. Just a few more scoops. One more. I just want to find one more.
Just one more.
And there's a bunch of different beaches, and they're kind of neat. So, have you ever gone out there?
Not yet.
Do you know where it's at?
No,
where's kind of Sarasota area, just south of Sarasota.
Okay.
So, yeah, we used to love to go to like kind of the Clearwater area.
Now it's probably a little more touristy and popular. Or...
Yeah, Clearwater's weird. Like the beaches are pristine, and you can walk out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet. It's like it never gets deep. And the sand is like sugar, but then you're battling with a ton of people, And I don't know if you know anything about Clearwater, but that's the headquarters of Scientology, And there's a lot of weird parts of Clearwater. You'll drive into parts of Clearwater where it's been all bought up by Scientology and nobody lives there. They just want to keep buying the land anywhere close to them. And Scientology,
people out.
Yeah. And Scientology is like, you don't know who's in Scientology, but there's like a ton of rich people, and then they just get more and more rich people to buy in. So like Grant Cardone's a Scientologist. I don't know if you knew that.
Learned that today.
Yeah. So we're talking billionaires, and so there's a lot of money in there. And so when the money goes in, they just kind of expand and expand.
Keep expanding out.
Yeah. Anyways, Clearwater's getting more and more weird. And we noticed that last time because there was quite a few, not Scientology signs, but vacant areas and stuff. And then they would have like a Scientology church and you're like, what's going on? And then I started doing a little research. And I was like, oh, they're buying up Clearwater. So anyways, we're going to go down south and go down to Venice.
There you go.
Yeah. We like the Sarasota, the Venice area.
Yeah.
The beaches are just really neat down there too.
Yeah.
So they're not quite as like white and pristine. So it's nice. It's just a normal beach.
Cool.
But the Gulf of America, they don't have nearly as many waves as the Atlantic.
Right.
Yep. And my kids actually like the waves because they like to boogie board and stuff. Yeah, they like to body surf and boogie board and stuff. So So for them, they're just like, we're done, shark tooth. There's no waves. Like, what are we supposed to do over here?
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. So
good.
Do you like going one place or the other better, or do you care? Or do you not like either?
I think between the two that I've been to, I like the Gulf of America side, like the Siesta Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before. That was nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of neat areas over there. It's too bad they always get like beat up by hurricanes. It's just that inland Gulf Coast. We've had 3 different Idahoan friends move to different parts around there, Sarasota, Fort Myers area and stuff.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yep.
They bought, lived a year or two, and then
coming again.
Yeah,
we did this last year. I don't want to do it again anymore.
And every single one of them was like, "Hey, why'd you buy in Orlando over there?" And I was like, "Well, we're slightly more insulated,
fizzles out by the time it gets here."
Yeah, we get tropical storms. We do have to worry about a little bit of flooding and wind, but for the most part, it seems like it just is a lot better area for that type of thing. Yeah. I didn't want to deal with it with hurricanes as much.
Yeah.
So, what about you coming from the Chicago area?
We didn't think about it until we got here, but it worked out better this way.
Yeah.
We look back, we're so glad we didn't go to the Tampa area, that we stayed towards Orlando.
What made you want to come down?
My wife was done with winter.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, well, they don't really have much in Florida, so let's just do that.
And how long ago was that?
22 we moved down.
Okay.
Yep.
So not too long.
Yeah, so we're at like 3 years now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're at 4 now. So yeah, that's a combined 7 for all you paying attention.
That's how the math works.
I will say I don't ever want to go back. I feel like I'm a Floridian already.
Mm.
You know, like I talk with a lot of people that have just were born and raised here.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I just feel like I fit in with you guys. You know, like I like the heat. Actually, a lot of them don't like the heat. A lot of like natural Floridians are like, oh, it's too hot. You know, I've lived here my whole life. I don't want to deal with the heat. And I'm just like, I love
Shouldn't
it.
you be more used to it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it was yesterday. It was like 91, and it started getting a little cloudy.
Yeah.
And it was 91. And I go outside. I'm like, it's kind of chilly. And then I was like, what is the temperature? And I look and I was like, 91. I was like, is this right?
That can't be right.
And I'm like, dang, dude, like it just doesn't seem as hot as it used to.
Yeah.
Like it used to seem like
way hotter. Now you're kind of like adjusted.
Yeah, now I'm adjusted and I'm like, if the pool's not 90, I'm not getting in. You know? Yep. So, and like we come from Idaho where it's all snow runoff and we used to jump in the lakes all the time. Mm-hmm. But the thought of jumping into one of those lakes right now
freeze you.
Yeah. It's like I'm not a glutton for punishment. I mean, maybe as a cold plunge, but even then, that's not even like a cold plunge temperature.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Those people are crazy. I used to cold plunge a little bit, and it's just, like, it's not really worth it anymore.
No, not anymore.
Well, I started doing research, and it's basically simulating like a heart attack type of sensation. Okay. So your body, like that's how your body would react as if that was happening. And so it's like a constant stressor, and it does release a lot of endorphins because of that. And that's why people like doing it, because it makes you feel good. You're releasing all those endorphins.
Gotcha.
You're practically dying. And so now you're surviving. And it's like your body's like, oh, and it is one of those things. It's like you've never felt better. After you do a cold plunge, you start to warm up and you're just like, oh, I feel awake and I feel so good.
Yeah.
But it's because you were killing yourself. Now your body's so stressed, it needs to get back to normal. Yeah. And so what's happening when you're doing that over and over? And now I think stress is good to some degree. I stress my body every morning. Well, 5 days, a week I work out. But I'm just like, I don't know. How many times do I want to stress my body?
Right. Like or to what extent?
Yeah.
So more extreme, you're like,
Yeah. So you ever do a cold plunge?
No, but maybe I'll just try it just to say I did it.
Yeah. Just to have the misery?
Yeah, just have the misery.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I got a buddy that does it, but he goes straight into the sauna afterwards.
Oh.
So he does the super cold and then the super warm.
Yeah.
And then he starts his workout.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. He's a carnivore too. I know I'm not a fan of those people, but you aren't. But I mean, you don't care.
I don't
but he's all about that life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his face just listed his place with Jared? Did you see that?
Daryl?
The lender. Yeah. Yeah. What's his name again?
Daryl?
Yeah. And what's the farm called?
I don't remember what their farm is called.
Oh, it looks so Leesburg. Neat.
Yeah.
Like
super cool.
I just want to go down there and hang out.
Check it out.
Yeah. I was just, why would you want to sell this? Just too much work. I guess.
Yeah.
Early retirement.
Yeah, they started it, and then I think something shifted along the way from their vision.
Okay, because it's like an organic regenerative farming, I think.
Yep.
And it looks like a cool place. So Jared Dunn, our friend of ours, fellow lender and realtor, he listed the property, and he did a great job listing it. Like the flyers, the setup, the explaining what it is and everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, it's kind of sad you're selling that. Because part of me is just like, that's kind of a dream. Like, just to have a farm.
Regenerative farm like that?
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be for you? I mean, or maybe like.
We've talked about it. That it'd be great to have the green practices, like the renewable water, and that you naturally filters, and the way the house warms or cools itself without having to rely on too much technology.
Yeah,
that'd
exactly.
Be super cool. Yeah,
wouldn't it?
Have
cool?
an area to grow our own food.
Yeah, and there is a lot of that too. Like when you even building ponds and stuff, you use the earth to filter the water as it goes through, and you can end up with crystal clear, perfect water.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
anyways, I just thought that was kind of a neat listing, and If I think about it, I'll put it, if it's still available, I'll put it in the comments. But
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
People should check it out. It's super cool.
And he's an LO here at Empire, right?
Yeah.
So Daryl, what's his last name? Do you know?
I don't remember.
He's got like a unique like Viking style look.
Yes.
To him, like braided, long hair,
long beard,
just And I've only spoken to him for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, but he seemed like a really nice guy.
He is super nice.
Yeah, he seems like just crazy nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's the industry, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyways, that's probably about 30 minutes. What would you say?
I think so. Probably right about there. Maybe a little bit more.
You think a little bit more? Huh?
Yeah.
I was thinking close to 25. We'll find out later, and we'll see. Oh, you're looking at it right. Hey, thanks, Trent.
See you guys in the next one.
All right, take it easy.